All right, well, we're getting started here with our week 6 of giving out socks and lots of other different things to the homeless here in downtown Elkhart. As you can see, this week I am going out fairly well prepared and stocked with materials that hopefully will help the homeless in our community stay a little bit warmer. It's currently 36 degrees outside, and each one of those bags comes with a bunch of socks, a hat, a blanket, and some food. Now, as far as things go in this region, 36 degrees really isn't all that cold, but today's actually, it's kind of blustering. We have a pretty good wind going, and there's some lake effect flurries going on, which pretty much is going to describe just about every day for the next, well, 5 or 6 months. So heading down Main Street, Elkhart, and just keep my eyes open. With this wind kicking up the way that it is, I'd be really surprised if I found anybody kind of out and about at this point. All right, well, I'm down in the parking garage here. It's always kind of hit or miss, but there looks like there's at least a couple of folks I can get some stuff to. Shit, what the hell was that? You guys all right down here? Yeah. You guys keep them warm as much as you can. All right, well, guys, what you get? The bag's got a blanket, hat, some socks in there, and a little bit of food.
Awesome, bud.
All right.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
I should have been keeping count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bags. I think that my original impressions with the weather being so cold, that there wouldn't be that many people out here today were correct. There was a lady who really looked like she was in need, and I really struggled with approaching her. And I think it's going to be tough for me to take that risk to ask a woman whether or not she's homeless, just because I know that a lot of women would take that pretty poorly, especially the women that I know. Okay, the other thing is that I think that the women, when they see me coming, assume that I want something besides to give them food or a hat or socks or anything like that, which I get. So I think it might be in everybody's best interest for me to kind of not approach the women unless I have my wife with me, and maybe they'll be more receptive to receiving things from her. Well, I didn't get the video turned on quite fast enough for the last guy, but he was going around with all of his stuff in kind of like in a trash bag. Man, my wife had a great idea by putting all these supplies into these gift bags, which were, a little bit more substantial. So he has something that he can carry his stuff around in, and I think that's pretty cool. Well, I walked down under the bridge today, and while, again, there was nobody there, I could definitely see a place where somebody had built up the rocks underneath the bridge to kind of form like a windbreaker, kind of like an alcove. So, again, there's still somebody there. They just don't happen to be there when I go by. So I just left a bag there for them. So that is a total of 8 bags that have been distributed today. Now, one interesting interaction that I had today was with a young man who was actually walking away from the shelter just before dinner. So I'm not quite sure what his situation is, but he couldn't have been more than maybe 22, 23 years old. And I asked him, the standard, hey, how are you doing on socks? And he's like, I can't lie, I could definitely use some socks. And I pulled out the bag, and he saw all the things that were in there besides the socks, and the dude teared up. He was a guy, like a 22-year-old guy. You don't expect to see that. So that was kind of a moment that stood out for me today. Well, I went out with a total of 17 bags of blankets and socks and hats and all that good stuff, and I am coming back home with 0. About 10 or 11 of those bags were handed out while I was out in the downtown area. but then the rest I handed out at the local shelter area where people were getting ready for dinner. As we wrap up week 6, it seems like things are starting to wind down a bit. I was able to raise $400 by selling those 4 ornaments, which got us enough materials to get us through today, and probably enough to get us through next week. And then after that, we'll probably have just a few more socks left and a few more of the hand warmers and things like that. And hopefully we'll be able to continue handing those out. But overall, this has been a great experience, and I really do appreciate everybody's support. God bless.